Hey everybody, and welcome back to the internet. I've been getting a lot of feedback lately, so thanks for that. So I decided to upgrade my background art a little bit. And since my Entitled Parents video yesterday did so well, I think I'm just going to do another one. So this first story is called, Entitled Parents Have a Meltdown When They Can't Bully Colleges into Enrolling Their Kids. Yeah, it was that time of year. While this did not directly happen to me, I was able to see it a few times in school, and it was freaking hilarious. My high school is one of the hardest in the state, hence why it provides a lot of opportunities for great colleges. I'm currently a senior, and I know exactly where I want to go. I understand how darn important my grades are junior and senior year, and I have to take it a lot more seriously than I did my first 2 years. You do hard work, and you get rewarded for it. Unfortunately, a lot of students and parents in my area don't agree with this sentiment. I live in a fairly upper-class town, not rich, but pretty well off. So it's no surprise that a lot of people living here are stuck-up, snobby jerks. There's a notorious gang of entitled parents that was known all through elementary and middle school for threatening and bribing the school to let their kids pass and give them second chances. They mostly got away with this behavior for a good 8 years, but then college applications rolled around, and oh boy did these entitled parents lose their freaking minds. Here's the thing they refused to accept. Colleges are not high schools. While I've heard from a lot of our older friends who graduated that college wasn't as stressful as our school, they are not obligated to put up with your crap, or your parents' crap. They will not be bullied into your demands, and you're sure as heck not going to get away with trying to bribe your precious baby into their schools. The only way you're getting into those schools is through hard work and good behavior, both of which the kids of these entitled parents had none of. On to the rage. I remember walking into school around 6:30 a.m. to meet with my guidance counselor, only to hear screaming and shouting coming from the students' resources room. I straight up grimaced because I had to wait in there for my counselor, and I knew what they were yelling about too. I walk in, and what do you know? The freaking Karen squad is surrounding one of the staff and berating her about college admissions. These parents were demanding that they contact the colleges about why their kids were rejected, and when the person told them they can't do that at this moment, the parents exploded. I have to sit across from this one mom who's red-faced and looks like she's about to kill someone, all because her precious little angel girl didn't get accepted to her dream school. Thankfully, I got called back into my counselor's office pretty early, and we went over which of the schools on my list I wanted to attend. I asked her why the heck these people outside were so angry about it, and she said, "Parents not getting what they want. It happens every single year." When I'm leaving, I hear literal screeching in the hallway. It's a Karen on her cell phone spewing venom at a college admin for explaining why her daughter was not accepted. She kept threatening him with imaginary charges and even physical violence. My guess is the dude on the other end laughed and hung up on her because she started screaming and slamming her purse on the ground right after. It's always really funny to watch crappy parents stomp their feet and cry when they learn that their manipulation tactics don't work on the education system anymore. They've been harassing and threatening their child's journey through school for so many years that when the power is finally taken away, they throw a toddler-level tantrum and scream how it's unfair. That's pretty good, actually. I wish that more K through 12 schools would actually be more strict on this thing, because it's becoming a real problem, more and more over time, that parents just kind of get to decide their children's outcome, not as in actually disciplining their kids, but just by disciplining the schools. And entitled parents create entitled kids. Anyways, this next story is called, Entitled Mom Screams at My Boss That I Should Be Fired. So I had just started working at a preschool, and I had worked there for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. That evening, we had a parents' dinner, and the idea was for me to mingle and get to know the parents. I was nervous, but at the same time excited, honestly. Earlier that day, the kids were out on the playground, and me and my colleagues were outside. However, I noticed that I had to change the diaper of one of the kids. Nothing out of the ordinary. My colleague is outside with the kids, and I quickly go in with the kid, change the diaper, and go back outside. 1 hour later, the parents start to arrive, and in walks Entitled Mom, and I had already had a bad feeling about her. We talk and I mingle, but she creeped me out. She looked kind of insane. You know when you look at someone in the eyes and they seem empty and always have that fake smile across their face? Anyways, hours pass and everything is fine. All of a sudden, Entitled Mom starts yelling at my boss. Apparently, the poor kid had a bruise on his forehead. No, nothing big, no scratch, just a little bump. I mean, kids play all the time and get bruises. Anyway, she starts yelling at my boss, demanding to know how this happened. My boss was honest and said she didn't know, but knew the poor kid had been outside during the afternoon, and mentioned that he was with me, for some reason forgets to say that my colleague's name who had left for the evening. Entitled Mom walks up to me, pulling her kid with her aggressively, "How could you let this happen?" she yells at me, drawing attention to the other parents. Remember, I'm new, trying to get to know the other parents, and super nervous. I tell her that I haven't seen him fall, cry, or hurt himself when we were outside, but that I left my colleague with the kids for a couple of minutes to change a diaper. I asked the kid if he was in pain, and the poor kid said no. The entitled mom says, "Don't you lie, it hurts, doesn't it?" and presses her finger on his bruise. I mean, of course it friggin' hurts if you press your finger into a bruise. Stupid jerk. The poor kid starts crying, obviously. See how irresponsible you've been? My kid is now crying because of you." Again, I explained that I wasn't there, my colleague was, and I couldn't have done anything to prevent it. Also, that kids do in fact fall sometimes, and he has been fine all evening. Entitled Mom then starts yelling at my boss that I should be fired, that I'm irresponsible and that I should never have interaction with her kid again. This was super embarrassing because all of the parents were in the same room, everybody looking at us. Not a good first impression. My boss is calm, collected, and repeats what I just said to the entitled mom. The entitled mom grabs her kid aggressively, pulling him away from us, yelling that she's going to charge the preschool. Of course she didn't, and then pretended like nothing happened the next time she saw me. After the humiliation, I went into the office and had to take a breath because it was so embarrassing. My boss came in and reassured me that it's fine, and it's not the first time this has happened with this entitled mom. Anyways, I get that you can be a mama bear, but don't freaking press your finger aggressively into your child's bruise to prove your point. Freaking hated her from that day on. Fun thing though, her kid loved me, and entitled mom didn't seem too pleased with that. Wow, so that mom actually hurt her son just to prove that her son was hurt? Oh man, some people are so dumb. I've got to say, I don't think I've ever actually encountered an entitled parent this bad, but these stories make me never want to. So this next one is called Entitled Parent Demands I Stop Drawing in My Own Home. A little context. My mother ran a daycare for a single parent out of our home. She ran it until I turned 18. She charged very little compared to the other daycares because she wanted to help out people who were struggling. We had all kinds of people's kids in there. Most of them were great. Sometimes I was a little annoyed at constantly having a lot of random new kids in the house, but I managed. My family's religious, as am I, and I have respect for all religions, but one of the parents whose 2 girls we took care of was frantically even more religious than us. She believed any conspiracy when it came to evil things. She wouldn't let her kids watch any films with talking animals because she said it was witchcraft, nor let them have dolls because there were idols. Though despite how careful she was keeping her kids away from evil spirits, she had a ridiculously poor judgment when it came to men, and would marry them within months of meeting them, then divorce when she realized she'd brought some creeper into the home and put her kids in danger. All referred to her as entitled mother. Now I really love to draw, and I'd finally settled on a half anime-esque style that worked for me well. There isn't a day I don't draw. It's everything to me. I was carrying a simple drawing of Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin through the house on my way to my room as entitled mom was coming to pick up her kids in the evening, and she saw it. I showed her what I'd drawn when she asked to see, and then she flipped. Now, it's been years, so this is a sum up of what she said. She says, "Is that anime? Anime is evil. It has evil spirits attached to it." I say, "It's just my drawing style. It's fine. I drew Kenshin. He's a swordsman that protects people. He's a good guy." She says, "No, anime is evil. You can't draw that anymore. I don't want the evil spirits to come out and get attached to my kids." I say, "There aren't any evil spirits attached to this. I'm not even drawing evil things." She says, "No, you can't draw that around my kids anymore." I say, "I don't even show it to your kids. It's not evil. It's just an art style from Japan." She says, "No, it has evil spirits. You have to stop drawing it." After that, I quit trying to argue and stayed quiet, walking away. She spent a good chunk of time trying to convince my mom that anime was evil, and that my art had spirits attached to it, and that she didn't want me to draw art like that anymore in my own house. It made my mom a little wary of anime, but otherwise she shrugged it off, and asked me to make sure entitled mom didn't see any of my art lying around. Which I did, but not before drawing a picture of Jesus in full anime style and leaving it out for entitled mom to see. I'll draw what I want in my own home, entitled mom. Jeez. And they even included the pictures of the anime style Jesus right here. Jeez, how can you think that everything is evil and has evil spirits? Like, how do you even survive in the world if evil is just that common and all over the place? Because if it really was, I don't think you could ever get away from it. Alright, so on to the final story for today, called Entitled Mom Thinks a Limp is a Bad Influence. So to start off, I moved over the summer, and the new house is close enough to the high school to walk. I have to walk about a mile every day, and the usual trek takes about 15 to 20 minutes in the winter. I also have a tendon disease in my knees from wrestling that causes the tendon that connects my quad to the tibia to rip and tear easily, causing me a lot of pain. My knees could flare up at the slightest thing, from tripping to falling on my knee. This happened a couple of weeks ago. It's a few days after a big snowstorm, and there are large ice patches all over the sidewalk that are somewhat covered by snow dust. I live in New England, and anyone who has been there knows that the winter weather here can be awful. So I'm on the usual trek to high school, and I'm about to get to the main stretch of road before I slip on an ice patch. Regaining balance from that tweaked my knee and caused a great pain. Like a pain that you have to stand there for a few seconds just to realize what just happened. My knee hurt, like a lot. I was limping. I was halfway up the street when I feel a tap on my shoulder. The lady was your typical Karen with the "let me speak to your manager" haircut covered by a checker woven beanie, wearing a purple insulated coat and a scarf. The interaction goes as follows. So I say, "Yeah?" She says, "Can you stop your thing?" I say, "What thing?" She's like, "The thing with your leg, you're walking." I'm like, "Limping?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sorry, but I'm not able to just stop limping." "Why?" "Well, I have a tendon." "I don't care what you have, just stop limping." "Well, I can't." She says, "Oh yeah, well your limping is bad for my son. Look at him. I don't want him to be a lazy F like you, making up injuries for pity." She's like, "I actually have a disease, lady." She says, "No, you're too young to have diseases like that." I write my dad's number on a piece of paper. "Here, if you have any problems, tell my father." "Now go away, lady." She storms off to meet her son on the other side of the street. I think all is good, but I couldn't be more wrong. I see something across the street quickly, and I feel a jolt on my knee. The knee. I say, "Ah, what the heck?" The kid runs across the street again and runs off to his mother towards the elementary school. If my iPod was able to make calls, I should have called the police on this lady, but I didn't even have enough info on this lady to file a report. So I just hobbled to the high school so I could just get there on time. Let's just say that I had to get an elevator pass that day. My dad did also talk to me after lifting about some crazy lady who called him complaining about me spreading ill behavior around my son. He took my side and also told me to file a police report if it happens again. Well then, I guess that's the entitled parents of this week. It's funny that I think, did we seriously have like 3 stories that mentioned the term a Karen lady? Like it's such a stereotypical entitled mom appearance and name. It's kind of funny. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and subscribe. I do story videos pretty much every day now, so yeah, thanks for watching.